and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. And today I'm doing a video on why I like Davros as a villain, obviously. I've just had my friend from Nerd Central over today, and we've he was kind enough to bring over Curse of Davros, which I think is a superb episode. Spoiler alert, because you know, if I ever get it and review it, you already know that I like it. But nonetheless, just generally, I've always had this fascination with Davros's character since I ever saw him. Since I saw him firsthand, or the first time I saw him in Genesis of the Daleks, which is odd because I am an advocate of the new series, as I've mentioned many a time now on this channel. But I think, yeah, I think I started delving into Classic Who around the third series of the new series. So before Journey's End and Stolen Earth, I'd already been aware of Davros, or I'd been aware of the Genesis Davros, none of the others, but so I have a soft spot for his Davros, or that actor's portrayal of Davros. It is phenomenal. I just love Davros's character. I just love this sort of, a vindictive, horrible person who's aesthetically looks vulnerable and looks somewhat maybe innocent if you just came across him, because he's disabled, but at first glance, don't let aesthetics fool you. He's this vindictive, maniacal, horrible, putrid, being who will just try and manipulate people and kill thousands of innocent people just for his own selfish cunning and his own selfish reasons. He's a survivor essentially. He will try and survive at all costs. He's like the master. He's in that sense that he always wants to just live on no matter what. And yeah, Curse of Davros with the Sixth Doctor, as played by Colin Baker, is phenomenal. Terry Malloy voices Davros phenomenal in that. He's the Davros in Resurrection. No, not in Resurrection, but in Revelation and Remembrance. And I like what the Fifth Doctor says in Resurrection. That Davros is essentially an emotional cripple. He's physically crippled, but in a sense he is also emotionally crippled, which to me makes sense, because in that situation you would be emotionally crippled. You wouldn't just be like, la 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 la, I've only got like one really working arm and I'm in this, cyborg, cybernetic-y type wheelchair thing, and I have awesomeness, fun time. He is upset, he is sad, he is angry about the fact that he is in this situation, and I don't think he chose to obviously be in that situation. No normal person would be, and because he is in that situation, it's driven him bonkers essentially. And I think it kind of, his character is so rich as a villain. He's not just a guy in a cape and in a suit kind of, or just in a cape, kind of just going, I'm mad for the sake of being mad. He has this sort of really unique sort of aesthetic about him, and unique sort of character about him, which I think shows that in Doctor Who you can have very interesting and very unique villains and adversaries against the Doctor, and Davros is definitely up there for that, for being different and unique and not just a very generic, plain, boring villain. Because in my opinion, he is fantastic as a villain. He always tests the boundaries of the Doctor, or of the Doctors, should I say, because he is, the Doctor has met him multiple times through his tenure, through the Fourth Doctor to the 10th Doctor, whether it be in the show, the mainstream show, the Big Finish, the Virgin New Adventures. I'm not sure if they've done a story in Virgin New Adventures with Davros, but they probably will do, or have done even. I'm surprised they haven't done one in the comic book series yet with Davros, but who knows, that might happen in a 12th Doctor issue, or Ninth Doctor, I don't know. But I just love his character. I love the design, the aesthetic, the motive. You know, he has a real motive for doing everything that he does, really. You know, he just doesn't, you know, he never feels very one-dimensional. He always feels like he's a fleshed-out character with a very well-rounded reason to want to destroy the whole universe, or take over the Doctor's body, or take over, you know, a planet, or you know, try and destroy all the other renegade Daleks or whatnot. You know, he always has this plan and always has this sort of motive, which always makes me, as a viewer, always intrigued to see him on screen. You know, I'm always curious. I'm always like, oh my god, it's Davros again. You know, because it's never a dull moment with him. And I think he is such a good villain that I always think, you know, okay, Davros is on screen, we're in for trouble. Okay, this has to be at least this, you know, an 8 or a 9, you know, story, because it has to be that good, because it probably will be, because it has Davros in it. You know, and yeah, I think he's a fantastic villain. As I've said, aesthetically he looks cool. You know, he looks cool in different iterations of his sort of wheelchair design. You know, from Genesis, where it's just black and silver, to, you know, the egg-shaped cup one in Remembrance, where he can kind of hide and look more like a Dalek, and then reveal himself underneath it and be like, "Hello there, Doctor. It is I, Davros." And that, you know, and he just works for Doctor Who, and he gave a face to the Daleks, which some could argue is a bad thing, but some could argue that it's a bad thing that they did that, but I don't know, I think he works well on his own sometimes, you know, kind of separate from the Daleks, but the Daleks still kind of there, if that makes sense. Like, the Daleks are kind of his baby, and he is kind of above them in the hierarchy, because essentially he's like the parent, he's the one who has the power, he's the one who has this obsession with wanting to destroy everything that is pretty much personified into or onto the Daleks, because essentially, you know, if Davros was kind and was and had mercy and compassion, the Daleks would never have, you know, wanted to kill everyone and do all that, you know, because essentially without Davros, yeah, they never really wanted to do that really on their own, I don't feel like. So, but yeah, I like Davros as a villain, and I'd love to hear what you think of Davros's as Davros. I'd like to hear what you have to say about Davros as a character, and why you like him as a villain. You know, do you think he is as vindictive and as not horrible as I'm making him out to be, or do you not like him as a villain for whatever reason? You know, do you prefer him in Remembrance over Genesis, or Genesis over Remembrance, or Resurrection over Revelation? I don't know, but yeah. Thanks for watching, comment, rate and subscribe.